What's up, people? It's Jules K Entertain, and this is my very first How to Play video, and I'm honored to be able to teach how to play Dungeon Crusade by Rodger Deering of Groovis Games. Dungeon Crusade, you are a crusader called to a village to go into the nearby dungeons and clear out the monsters, go on quests, break some doors and pick some locks and all that other stuff, and avoid traps and all that other stuff that you do in a dungeon. And there's even a dog involved. You get to bring a dog along. So there's a lot to go over in this game, and this video isn't meant to be all inclusive of all the things you can do, but I aim to make it a good starting point or a refresher for a lot of people that may have played before and kind of just need a little bit of a refresher. So that being said, so much to go through. I am not going to ramble on. Let's go ahead and get into Dungeon Crusade.
Magic comes with much preparation. Here's the setup.
Place a village board and dungeon UI board on the table. Including Albus, each character has 2 cards. On one card, it's a backstory and special skills, with level 1 character stats and starting weapon on the opposite side. The second card is level 2, with level 3 being on the opposite side. Place all the level 1 character cards for each character in the game down on the table. Then, put the starting weapon shown on the card next to the character sheet. For the special ability cards, take the counterattack card. Then take the 3 level 1 cards and randomly remove one from the game. You can use a die for this. For the 2 remaining abilities, pull the level 2 and 3 cards, making 6 special ability cards total. The cards that are left can be tossed out of the game. Take the 6 save cards and put them on the village board next to the academy. Do the same for all characters. Next is the starting gold. You can roll a d3 and multiply that by 100. The character can get 0 gold or just 100 gold. The choice is up to you. For solo crusader mode, you're going to get your character as well as a starting weapon. Then the counter card and all the special ability cards. Yes, all. Go up on top next to the academy. Next, take initiative tokens 1 through 3, and let's straighten that out, and 1,000 gold pieces and put it with your player. Now, you can make it a little bit more difficult by rolling a die and multiplying the amount times 100. Find the mercenary camp card and put it on the village board. Next, shuffle and randomly get a character. Oh, it looks like we just so happen to have those 2 we had earlier. What luck! Take the level 1 character sheets, starting equipment, and standees for each character. Put them next to the village board. Then take all level 1 special abilities and put those next to the academy. Look in the scenario book and select the scenario you want to play and place the dungeon board on the table. The setup is in the back of the rulebook. On the siege tile, in this white border, is the hero starting point. Place all heroes here and Albus on an adjacent space to that hero.
Wait, why am I the only one sideways? No one can see me like that. Oh, thank you.
Next, place doors on each chamber entrance. Then, randomly place the treasure chest, trap tokens, and mining side tokens face down in the relevant squares. Shuffle the tavern task deck and pull 1 random card. Put the rest in the box. Shuffle all minion and champion cards into separate decks by level. Do the same for level 1 and 2 guardians, but for level 3 and 4 guardians, you're going to need to shuffle those into 1 deck. Now there are a lot of enemy cards, so you may need to get creative with whatever storage solution works for you. Shuffle and place a trap deck and secret room deck next to the village board. Shuffle blessings, celebration cards, and treasure chest decks and place those also in their correct spaces. Remove the 8 exhausted mining site cards from the deck. Then divide the rest of the cards into 4 decks of 32 cards each. Shuffle the 2 mining cards back into each deck and place them into their spaces. Remove the 10 interlude cards from the 86 card encounter deck, then shuffle and deal 30 cards. Shuffle 9 interlude cards back into the 30-card deck. Then place the remaining interlude card on top of the deck. Place the deck on the dungeon board. Place the Elder Globe tokens under the quest deck face up, and the main side, and kill the Guardian Quest tokens onto each table.
Advanced setup! More setup for more adventure!
Find the 3 main and 3 side quest cards and follow the setup instructions on each. Each card has the backstory on the front, and on the back there are objectives and the setup instructions. Take this one for example. Remember, when placing any of the quest tokens, the tokens are placed face down. Do this for all of the quests. Some quests won't require you to put tokens down right away, but there will be a spot for you to put them on. Any unused tokens are put to the side. Do not look at them. You'll ruin the surprise. Next, look in the scenario book for the seating quantities. You'll need 7 crates and then everything mentioned on the seating quantities, and it'll go into a cup. Or, in my case, a brown bag, whichever you prefer to use. Once you put them all in there, you can shake them up and start distributing them into the empty chambers. When seating, it's recommended to go quadrant by quadrant in this pattern to avoid missing any quadrants or cells. During the non-quest seating, monsters can be placed either face up or face down for a harder difficulty. When you put down a crate, make sure to put down another token. If you pull a second crate in the same chamber, just put that crate to the side and pull another token. Then you can use the crate again later. When the dungeon is seated, your bag, or mug, should be empty. Based on the scenario, place a terror level, guardian spawn, and minion population based on difficulty using the red markers. Also, according to the scenario, place a healing potion, elixir, okra juice, and torches in the bazaar. Then, remove the junk, legendary, and underground artifact loot from the loot deck. Again, based on the scenario, deal the appropriate number of loot cards of each type to the blacksmith. Let's straighten these out right quick. Okay, all right. There we go. That's better. Now, shuffle the junk, legendary, and underground artifact loot in with all the regular loot in place to stack near the board. You can now initiate a shop phase before going into the dungeon and buy loot based on the price shown here. Don't forget, you can also buy a pickaxe used for mining. This is how my current setup looks, but just remember, Dungeon Crusade is a very big game and your setup may be different from mine. I highly recommend keeping the quick reference guides here. They're basically the whole book in 4 cards.
Upkeep faith. By my honor, we prepare to go further.
First, if there are any heroes in the Resurrection Shrine, roll a d3 and set the hero's health and essence to that rolled value. Then roll a d12 for health and the orange d12 for essence. Then place a resurrected hero next to any hero in the dungeon. Next, process any hero afflictions on cards. Some afflictions have an immediate effect at the beginning of the round, and some have ongoing effects. Roll a d12 to test your torch. If you roll a 2 or lower, the torch goes out. Put the torch next to the village board. Otherwise, flip it to its lit side. Next, untap any special abilities that were used during the last round. Distribute initiative tokens according to the order that the players will take during their turns. Keep in mind rallying, which we'll go over later. If all quests on the quest table are completed, turn the Elder Globe to the green side, then put a tracking marker on the teleport track. After 3 turns in the dungeon, the heroes are transported back to the village for Celebration Day. Now on Celebration Day, draw and resolve a Celebration Day card. If you have completed your tavern quest, resolve that as well. Then, collect any rewards from completed quests that you have not already had Albus collect. Roll a d6 and add a 5 to that number. The result is how many loot cards you're going to pull to refill the blacksmith's shop. If you pull an underworld artifact or junk card, pull a different card and refill the blacksmith's shop with that one instead. You can spend 4 life points to level your hero up to the next level, leaving health and essence at the same values. Please note, character levels are limited to 1 plus the number of green Elder Globes. You can also go to the Academy and pay the life force cost to buy new special abilities. And a lot more can be done during Celebration Day, including healing your heroes up, drawing a blessing card, buying and selling items, or even going to the House of Chance for some gambling. Once all business is done on Celebration Day, you'll need to create a new encounter deck the same way you did during initial setup. Then, you'll remove all minions from the dungeon and reshuffle their monster cards back to the appropriate decks. Reset the Guardian Spawn track. Check the top card from each of the 4 mining card decks and remove the exhausted cards, placing them back in the game box. Then, remove the red tokens from the teleport track. Next, remove all trap tokens from the board and then place them randomly face down on all trap icons. Place all heroes back on the siege tile, and then reveal the blessing cards and start the first upkeep phase of the new set of quests.
Shh, quiet and quickly, the encounter phase.
Draw the top card from the encounter deck and process the effects. There are 4 types of encounter cards. The interlude cards have no effect, but give the heroes a break. Environment cards produce a global effect that modifies an element of gameplay. These statements play until another environment is drawn or an effect cancels it out. Challenge cards initiate an attribute test for some or all heroes, usually with rewards for passing or consequences for failing. And event cards produce an immediate global effect.
Guardian phase, I shall ensnare you like flies.
Roll a d20. If the result is less than the one marked on the Guardian spawn track, no Guardian is spawned. If the result is greater than or equal to the marked number, pull a Guardian from the current quest level and place it in the enemy line. Then find the standee, roll a d8, and look for the spawn point with the result on it, and place a Guardian spawn there. If the square is occupied, place the enemy in any adjacent square. Whether a Guardian was spawned or not, lower the number on the Guardian spawn track.
Hero phase. With my axe I will cut them and cut them.
Players will take turns in initiative order, taking 2 actions per token. Before going any further, I recommend that the rulebook be open to these pages or at least have these pages quickly available for reference as you're learning the game. As you can see from this chart, most actions also involve movement. Movement is calculated by adding your movement attribute to a rolled d6 and adding those 2 together. If there is a torch, you add another 2. In this scenario, Maheliak would have 6 movement, or in other words, Maheliak would move 6 squares. This is probably a good time to note that if at any point during the game the hero comes within line of sight of a vagrant minion or a non-tracking guardian, the minion would become a raiding minion or the guardian a tracking guardian, respectively. Line of sight is within 4 squares and where a straight line can be drawn from the center of the starting square to any corner of the ending square and vice versa. Objects such as walls, trees, pillars, statues, and other objects block line of sight. Alright, now back to movement. When playing the new recommended Blitz mode, players start their action with Blitz movements, moving through 2 quadrants before starting their actual turn. This has to be along a path and you stop at any tracks that are on the way. That would end a Blitz movement. A trap token that shows the blue is a trap that has no effect and you're in the clear. If the trap token shows a foot caught in a bear claw, pull a card from the trap deck. Follow the instructions, then take the trap token and put it next to the village board. With the trap being processed, Maheliak uses his second Blitz movement to reveal a mine. Now, let's just say this was a mining site. Maheliak could stop his Blitz movement action and proceed with his regular actions for the turn, with his first action being to mine. Mining is used to find materials and precious stones that can be given to the blacksmith on Celebration Day or delivered by Albus. The village blacksmith can then craft powerful gems from the materials brought to him. This can be done either on Celebration Day or if your heroes are in the dungeon, your trusty dog Albus can take the materials to the blacksmith. The power gems that the blacksmith crafts can be slotted into certain equipment and armor in order to give it stat buffs or special abilities. In order to mine, roll a d3. The result of that d3 shows how many cards you pull from that mining site. Then roll a d12. If the result of that roll is within range of the marker on your pickaxe, then move that marker down, dulling your pickaxe. Otherwise, continue on. After a mining action, you are permitted to start or complete your movement action. So here, Maheliak could use a movement from this action to move towards the other chamber and then use his last action to open the door and initiate a rally. Players can rally up to the next 2 initiative tokens to assist in a battle against either guardians or champions. The rally will take up the entire initiative's turn. The active player must spend 1 essence to initiate a rally. Now, in this example, the next rally character will use her first blitz action to get to the treasure chest that Maheliak left behind. If you're standing on or next to a treasure chest, pull a treasure card from the treasure card deck and follow the instructions. If applicable, pull the card back into a discard pile. Some cards, such as this one, will have you keep the card on the table until conditions are met. The character will then use her second blitz action to get herself to the rally point. Please note, it's okay to take care of other actions on the way to the rally point as long as you can make it to the rally point at the end of the turn. Oh, okay. Look, don't do like I did and neglect Albus. Albus is your trusty fetch hound. He can be activated at any time during the hero phase and has his own movement, including a blitz movement. He cannot be hurt or killed and avoids traps and monsters. Albus can also scout ahead for mining spots or carry quest items. He's also your link to the village. While heroes can't go to the village during an active quest, Albus can. He can take weapons, mining cards, and other items to the village, but he can also handle business in the village and bring items back to the heroes in the dungeon. And if you're playing solo Crusader mode, Albus can even hire a mercenary for you in the village while you're in the dungeon fighting. So again, don't neglect Albus. Alright, glad we got that out of the way. Now, let's go back to combat. Since this is a condensed video, we'll go over the revised combat system, which is a streamlined, quicker version of combat. Whenever battling a new enemy, minion, champion, or guardian, you draw that card and put it at the end of the enemy line. For this tutorial, I'm going to move these others out of the way and leave room so I can show you how it's done. First, activate the monster's before combat ability, which is usually shown right here. In this case, it's an agility test. For any attribute test in or out of combat, the character's player rolls a d20, then adds that result to the value of the attribute on the character's card and any equipment or item buffs. The test is passed if the total meets or exceeds the value on the card, and fails if it doesn't. In a chamber battle or battle with a champion, a character can attempt to evade out. Roll a d20, add the result to the evade attribute on the character card and any equipment items or buffs. If the value meets or exceeds the value on the champion card, the evade is successful. If all characters evade, leaving the monster alone in the chamber, place a red marker equal to the monster's level on the incantation board. Remove it when the monster is defeated. If the incantation level ever hits 4, raise the village terror and minion population level by 1, remove 1 token from the bazaar, and reset the incantation track to 0. If the evade was not successful, take damage equal to the monster level and proceed with combat. At this point, also specifically for chamber combat, heroes can do one or all of the following. Drink a potion and resolve the effects, then place a token on the village board. Spend essence to activate special abilities if possible. Abilities with this symbol on a card can be activated within a chamber. If there's a red down arrow on the card, turn it sideways to show the ability has been used. Heroes can also switch out their own gear. Note, trading gear with other heroes is not permitted inside a chamber, only outside the door before initiating combat. Next step in combat, collect the warfare tokens that match the warfare types on the enemy card. I also like to get the dice right away, but you don't have to do that. Now let's take the 3 tokens and shuffle them, then put them down in a stack. Flip the top warfare token to plan the attack for this phase. In the revised combat system, any of the rallied heroes can attack. Select which hero will be participating in this phase of combat by putting the Phase 1 token on the weapon that will be used. Roll the d6 and d8 dice matching the warfare token color, and then add the result to any of the current warfare bonuses on the chosen character sheets, equipment, or even encounter cards that may be in play. If the combined result meets or exceeds the enemy's target number, deal the amount of damage shown on the weapon selected. Take note, plus X damage simply means that the weapon deals X amount of damage. If the roll did not meet or exceed the target number, the hero suffers a damage amount shown next to the target number. If the monster has died, meaning all hit points have been met, then combat is over. Collect any life force shown on the monster card, then roll a d20. If the result of the roll does not meet or exceed the loot and/or gold value shown on the monster card, then proceed with the game. However, if the result meets or exceeds the monster's treasure chest value, draw a loot card, and if the gold coin value is met, collect that amount of gold. Shuffle the monster card back into the appropriate deck. If the monster hasn't been defeated, move to the next phase and repeat the process. There are 3 phases in a combat round. If you're fighting a champion in a chamber and the monster has not been defeated, restart the combat round starting with the start of round monster ability. If you're fighting a guardian, combat is over after the 3rd phase. Fighting minions is the same for revised or classic combat. When you initiate minion combat, shuffle the 3 warfare tokens the minion can use, then pull 1 at random. Put a battle token on the weapon the hero will be using. Note that in any combat, you don't have to choose a weapon of the enemy's warfare type, but you just wouldn't get the hit roll bonus from your weapon, although you would still get it from any of that character's equipped items and character sheet. Grab the warfare dice and the D20 final strike die and roll all 3. Process the main warfare roll and then the D20 final strike die in the same way. If the minion was slain during the warfare roll, don't worry about a miss on the final strike die. Any leftover damage is a critical strike that hits an adjacent minion. For example, if a 2-point minion is slain with 3 damage, the remaining 1 damage would move to the adjacent minion. Once a minion is defeated, make a loot and gold roll. If a hero is adjacent to a secret room door, they can take an action to attempt a discovery. Replace the Master Secret Room token with a random double-sided one, then perform a wisdom check against the number on the bottom right of the secret room token. The number on the bottom left is how many attempts can be made at discovery. For each failed attempt, put a red marker on the token. Each attempt is a separate action. If all attempts are made with no success, then the secret room is permanently locked. If there is a success in discovering the room, pull a random lockpick token along with a red, blue, and green D6 die. Roll the dice to get all of them greater than or equal to their corresponding number. The number on the bottom left plus the lockpicking attribute is how many rolls you can attempt at this. You can hold the dice that are already successful. If you use all attempts without getting all 3, the room is permanently locked. However, if you are successful, the door is unlocked. You may take an action to go inside and a free action to pull a secret room card. There's so much more that can be done in the hero phase while crusading in the dungeon. Please refer to the rulebook or some of the videos in my description for a much more in-depth look at all you can do during the hero phase. Monster phase! If there are less minions in the dungeon than what's shown on the minion population track, draw the top card from the minion card deck. The levels should be the same as the quest table that the heroes are currently working on. Now, put that minion in at the end of the monster area, then roll a d8 for the spawn point and put the standee on that spawn point. Repeat this until there are as many minions in the dungeon as the population track shows. In enemy line order, roll the raid die, based on the scenario difficulty, the d6 movement die, and the d8 patrol die. If the raid die shows the highest possible result, the minion converts into a raiding minion. We'll go over that later. The minion's movement value is the d6 movement die added to the minion's movement stat. In the blitz mode, if a vagrant minion starts on a skull pile or spawn point, move the minion along the patrol path color to the next skull pile or spawn point, ending the blitz action. Then process the regular movement along the patrol path roll. If the minion didn't start on a skull pile, see if the current movement value will get the minion to the next skull pile following the current patrol route. If so, use that movement, then a blitz movement. If not, reverse it. Use the blitz movement first, then use a regular movement action. Again, at any point in the game, if the minion comes within 4 squares of a hero, they become a raiding minion. During movement, a raiding minion will move in the direction of the bloody arrows to head towards a siege tile. If your minion becomes adjacent to a hero, it will initiate combat. In this case, the hero is defending and successful rolls mean that the hero take no damage. A hero can spend essence to use a counterattack ability, allowing them to deal damage. After combat, if the minion has not been slain, it will continue any movement left towards the siege tile. Activate all minions this way. Note, if a minion does escape the dungeon to terrorize the town, raise the terror level by 1 and reshuffle the minion card back into its appropriate deck. Next, activate Guardians. Guardians don't use movement dice, but they move between quadrants by movement values shown here on their card. The number shows how many quadrants the Guardian moves through. In Blitz mode, the Guardian starts with 1 Blitz movement. Then they take their regular turn. During their regular turn, if the Guardian is on a skull pile or spawn point, roll the patrol die and move the Guardian to the next spawn point or skull pile along that patrol route. Do the same for any remaining movement. If the Guardian is not on a spawn point or skull pile, use a movement to get to one and then roll the patrol die for the remaining movement. As said earlier, during any phase, if a hero comes within 4 squares and line of sight of a Guardian, the Guardian becomes a tracking Guardian. A tracking Guardian doesn't roll a patrol die, he simply moves between quadrants in the direction of the tracked hero. A Guardian tracks a hero until one of the 4 conditions is met. First condition, a hero dies. Let's hope not. Second condition, another hero of a higher class priority comes within line of sight. The priorities are shown here on the Guardian card, and the hero's class is shown here on the hero card. Third condition, the hero is able to move far enough from the Guardian that the Guardian cannot reach the hero on its turn. And the fourth hero, if the hero is able to hide in any empty chamber by going to the chamber and performing a hide test against the number on the outside of the chamber. If the test fails, the hero can still be tracked, even inside the chamber. Again, if any of these conditions are met, the Guardian stops tracking the hero. If a tracking Guardian gets to a quadrant with a tracked hero, put the Guardian next to the hero and initiate combat. Much like with the minions, combat initiated by the Guardian is the same as if it was initiated by the hero, except the hero is only defending. Make sure to note any on-attack abilities the Guardian may have. The hero can use their counter-attack ability during one of the 3 phases to attack the Guardian. And that is an entire round of Dungeon Crusade. Final notes, if a hero dies, slide their health and essence to 0 and put their standee in the resurrection shrine on the village board. Then move the terror track up by 1. You will be able to revive them during the upkeep phase. And that, as they say, is Dungeon Crusade. As I said, this was a game that has a lot to it, and I hope I was able to get to, I know I was able to get to most everything within this short amount of time. But if you still have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments or check out the links that I have in the description to a playlist. Phenomenal videos that just go really in depth. I love those videos. I actually had to reference them myself a couple times. But this has been Dungeon Crusade. Thanks again, Rodger Deering, for putting your trust and faith in me and getting together a video for you. I'm beyond honored. But this is only the first of hopefully many how to play videos. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Let's go! I know that get up was kind of slow, but I'm getting older. I can't just jump up like I used to.